Now, I don't have quite a great pregame show for you today. We had to run to Coeur d'Alene and Spokane early this morning and then make it back here in time to get to the game action here this afternoon. So I just got here at about 3:17, got everything set up, and we are ready to roll just about. But we're hoping that everything is working right at the studio. Anyways, let's see here. It's a pretty nice day for softball, maybe a little bit on the warm side for some, but it is perfectly clear skies today with 77 degrees outside. So if you're not doing much, come on down and cheer on these Lumberjack girls. The first pitch scheduled for 4 o'clock as they take on the Grangeville Bulldogs. Now, I do want to apologize one more time that we weren't able to make it out to Orofino yesterday for the Lumberjack boys action against Orofino in their district tournament action, but we had some other things going on that we could not get out of or get away from, so we were not able to make it up there. Sadly, the boys' season came to an end with a loss to Orofino yesterday up in Orofino. The girls, I think, win or lose, actually. I think they move on to still play on Monday. So, yes, they do. So, the way this is working right now, the winner of this game will go on to play either Orofino or Kellogg. That game could be over by now. Orofino is playing Kellogg today at 3, or about halfway over. And St. Mary's or Grangeville will play the winner of the Orofino-Kellogg game on Monday in Orofino at 2 p.m. The winner of that game will be on to the state tournament. The losers will drop down and battle a little bit more until they get to see who is going to go to a play-in game. I have been told at least if St. Mary's is the team for that play-in game, it'll be in Moscow next Saturday, I believe. So that is just a quick look at that. And I probably shouldn't look at the brackets yet. We've still got other stuff to look at before we should have jumped into the brackets. But anyways, we're going to step away. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back after this.
With a P1FCU Ascend checking account, you get more than great dividends. Imagine having an entire branch in your pocket. Who needs a checkbook when you have a digital wallet? The only thing I check these days are my dividends.
Access your account anytime, anywhere. Simplify your life and start earning more with Ascend checking. Get yours today at p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, your community, your credit union. Insured by NCUA.
Kenny and the crew at 10th Street Superstop invite you into the biggest convenience store in town. 10th Street Superstop is your one-stop shop for gas, propane, snacks, and ice-cold drinks. Stop in for breakfast or lunch, breakfast burritos and pizza to paninis and fajita burritos. 10th Street Superstop has something for everyone. Whether you're headed to a Lumberjack game or out into the woods, 10th Street Superstop is the place to stop for anything you may need. 10th Street Superstop on North 10th Street in St. Mary's. Well, well, well. Are you in need of a reputable, experienced, and knowledgeable well drilling and pump company? Look no further than Interstate Drilling and Pump. Interstate Drilling and Pump drills new wells, deepens existing wells, installs and repairs pumps, and does well testing both for water quality and gallons per minute. Interstate Drilling and Pump has 24-plus years of experience and serves from Moscow to Rathdrum and the Silver Valley. Well, what are you waiting for? Get on their schedule today. That's Interstate Drilling and Pump, 208-245-5101. 208-245-5101, Interstate Drilling and Pump.
Tax time is here again. I know. It's not your favorite. But at H&R Block, tax time is our favorite time of year. It's when our tax pros get to do what they love the most, help people. By getting to know you, they can make sure your return gets done right. It's not just about numbers, boxes, and forms. It's about personal care, so you get every credit and deduction you deserve. And with an average of 10 years experience, our tax pros get your taxes done right. Just one of the many ways Block has your back.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Idaho. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association.
Janelle Martin Holmes, your Farm Bureau insurance agent in St. Mary's, is a proud Lumberjack supporter because they're her hometown team. When it comes to insurance, that's also one reason so many people in St. Mary's choose Farm Bureau Insurance. They have a complete line of insurance products including auto, home, commercial, and life, plus they have great customer service and competitive rates. And they're also a local company with local agents right here in St. Mary's. So let's hear it for our hometown teams. Contact Janelle Martin Holmes, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in St. Mary's at 105 North 8th Street, St. Mary's.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Other places make you pay extra for that, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les. Book your appointment at leschwab.com. Terms and conditions apply. See leschwab.com for details.
Yeah, we are back, and I want to also remind everybody coming up this weekend, the Muddy Butt Race up at Christmas Hills. Do apologize for the camera shaking around just a little bit. We do have a slight breeze that's moving things around. And again, like we mentioned at the last game when St. Mary's hosted Orofino, I am hoping that my tablet will stay charged all the way through the game. We've got about a 96% battery right now, so we are just kind of hoping that this will stay charged for the whole game. We got all of the Orofino game on Tuesday, I think that was. So hopefully this one will stay charged as well. Maybe they're going to get things rolling slightly early as they've got the umpires and the teams out here discussing some ground rules, I guess. And maybe we're going to play, I don't think, unless one of the teams is going to play national anthem off their speaker. We do have both teams lined up on the baseline, so we'll see if that's what they are just going to do as well. And then once the girls head to start their quick warm-up before the first pitch, we'll try to get you, well, let's see if I can do that right now before they break up at the, no, they're about ready to break up at the home plate. Anyways, the pitcher for St. Mary's will be Addison Stewart. Behind home plate, Taryn Brebner. Mia Asbury at first. Lissa Watkins over at second base. Third base is Danica Sloper. Shortstop is Brenna Elliott. Left field, Kendra Nicholson. Madison Thomas in center. And Avery Baird in right field. Now we'll see if they are going to play a national anthem from somebody. Still kind of waiting to see what's up. We don't even have a flag, really. Oh, wait, maybe they're going to do like the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, so that's what we did. They did the Pledge of Allegiance here before we get the game rolling. And it looks like we're about ready to get things going here. We're looking up to where the flag's supposed to be. We don't have a flag out here anywhere right now. I did have some information, if I can get it out there. There were several broken records in track this week, so I want to congratulate them. Raven Yearout was one of them. Julian Grimaldo, I think Demercia Spooner, Isaiah Gustav, I think I don't know if they all broke some records, but several of them broke some records. And as a team, the Lumberjack boys track team placed 6th at the Meet of Champions. So pretty good for them. I think they've got districts coming up soon for track. So congratulations and good luck to our track teams at districts. Also, I think tomorrow is districts for the golf team. So good luck to them as well. So back to this. We'll take another quick look at our starting outfield. And we've got Addison Stewart in the pitching circle. Taryn Brebner behind home plate. Mia Asbury at first base. Lissa Watkins at second. Danica Sloper at third. Brenna Elliott at short. Kendra Nicholson in left. Maddie Thomas in center. Avery Baird in right. And Lumberjacks, we'll go back to that game a little bit. So St. Mary's played Orofino earlier this week. They lost that game 10-7. St. Mary's had a 7-4 7-1 lead or 7-2 lead early on. And fifth inning, Orofino kind of found something. St. Mary's had a few errors, and the Maniacs were able to take a lead. And the top of the fifth, and they didn't look back after that. St. Mary's tried to come back in that seventh inning, and they just couldn't complete the comeback. So they fell to the Maniacs 7-10 in that game, making the Maniacs the league champions, and they get to host the district tournament. So we will see. Again, it was just a little bit of errors was the biggest factor in that game for the Lumberjack girls. Leadoff batter for Orofino will be Madeline, or not for Orofino, for Grangeville, will be Madeline Green. Addison Vanderwall will be on deck. In the hole, Chris Barger. Madeline Green, a lefty. Still waiting, getting the outfield umpire out there. And he's headed over to his spot down the first baseline. Just about ready to get things rolling here from St. Mary's. Potlatch Deltic Fields District Tournament, the Lumberjacks versus the Grangeville Bulldogs. First pitch on the way. That's going to be a called strike on the outside corner. I think Green thought that one was low and out. Didn't get the call from the umpire. 0-1 pitch on the way from Stewart. That'll be a little blooper out to our shortstop. That is Elliott. Throw to first in time to record the first out. I'm going to call that a pop fly, as it was just a little, took a one hop out to Elliott to throw to Asbury in time. That'll bring up Addison Vanderwall with Chris Barger on deck. Sienna Wagner in the hole. Vanderwall a righty. Stewart delivers the first pitch to her. Inside corner, strike one. Again, I think they might have thought that was low and inside. But the umpire saying strike one. 0-1 pitch. Outside corner this time. Strike two. 0-2 count. (0-2) pitch to Vanderwall. That one's going to be popped up foul. That'll just get over the fence and just on the edge of the ditch out here. Darren Brebner threw that one over the head of Stewart a little bit out there to the pitcher. Count is 0-2 as we try to get the ball back to Stewart. Stewart, big smile on her face after that. 0-2 pitch to to Vanderwall. Again, fouled off. That one's going to go in the ditch as well. Still an 0-2 pitch to Vanderwall. One out, nobody on. Top of the first inning for the Bulldogs. Stewart sets up, rocks and fires. Got a nice one there. Swung it right over. Swung it at it. I guess it was a drop third strike. They get the throw over to first in time, and that's out number 2. Nobody on. That'll bring up Chris Barger with 2 outs. Barger waiting for the first pitch. On the way across the pit, right across the plate, strike one. That's the first pitch that was down the middle from Stewart so far. 0-1 count, pitch on the way. Fouled off for strike 2. Pretty good top of the first inning for Stewart so far in the pitching circle. No balls, 9 strikes. 0-2 count to Barger. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will retire the sides. 3 up and 3 down, 2 strikeouts and 1 ground out for the Lumberjack defense. No score, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. When we come back, we'll give you the outfield for the Bulldogs and the starting lineup, or at least the top 3 batters for the Lumberjacks.
Archie's IGA is not only a proud supporter of Lumberjack sports, but a proud supporter of the St. Mary's community and shopping locally. When you shop local, you help businesses support other local businesses, as well as helping your local businesses to provide jobs. Did you know that local business taxes help maintain communities and counties by fixing roads and maintaining recreational facilities? local business owners invest in the community and have a vested interest in the future of our community. So won't you help Archie's IGA by supporting your local businesses and shop locally? Oh yeah, and let's not forget those Lumberjacks.
And we are back here at Potlatch Deltic Fields District Tournament softball action. It's Lumberjack girls hosting the Grangeville Bulldogs. And let's see the outfield for Grangeville. Michaela Clement will be in the pitching circle. Kinsley Adams behind home plate. Madeline Green at first base. Addison Vanderwall at second. Carissa Barger at third. Sienna Wagner at short. In left field, Autumn Long. Center field, Madison Harris. And over in right field, McKenna York. For the Lumberjacks, the leadoff three is Madison Thomas, Avery Baird, and Addison Stewart. Against the Maniacs, earlier in the week, Madison's first at bat, Maddie Thomas's first at bat, resulted in a home run out into right field. Lumberjacks, we've played one game for varsity out here, and sadly, the Kellogg Wildcats are the only team so far that I know of to hit a home run here at this new field. St. Mary's would like to get their first home run on their new field. First pitch is going to miss inside, ball one. Might have been a tad bit high as well. It's a 1-0 count to Thomas. Clement checks her wristband. Rocks and fires. Nice looking pitch, a swing and a miss, strike one. 1-1 strike to Thomas. Again, kind of like Orfino, Maniac's pitcher has a wristband on and gets the pitch calls from her coach at the dugout, or at least maybe the umpire or the catcher might, but I think she keeps looking over to the dugout. Next pitch is going to be a swing and a miss, strike two, 2-1 count to Thomas. Again, Clement takes a look to the dugout, looks at her coach, looks at her wristband, sets back up on the rubber. Pitch on the way. That one's going to be fouled off. Count remains 1-2. There goes another one into the pond. It's more of a ditch, but still. So 1-2 count to Thomas. Nobody out, nobody on. Bottom of the first inning. Maddie, the leadoff hitter for St. Mary's. Clement's next pitch on the way. Low. Maybe a tad outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Thomas. Two pitch on the way. Going to be a chopping ground ball. Shortstop. Sienna Wagner scoops it up. Gets to throw, but it's not going to be quite in time. And Thomas will be on with a single. Just got that into a spot where it was a little bit harder for Wagner to field it and throw it to first in time. I'll bring up Avery Baird for the Lumberjacks. Addison Stewart on deck. Adeline Turner in the hole. The leadoff three for St. Mary's, all seniors. First pitch to Baird, down low, ball one. Ball gets away from the catcher, and it'll advance Thomas to second base. So Kinsley Adams had a hard time knocking that ball that was in the dirt down. So it's a 1-0 count to Baird. That next pitch is going to be a little chopping grounder down the third base line, and she will outrun the throw again, almost like a bunt is the way that was hit, but it wasn't a bunt. It was a full swing, and it laid out like a bunt, so it'll be a single down that third base line on that soft ground ball. Again, just into a spot that was hard to get the play on it. Runners at the corners with nobody out for the Lumberjacks. Brings up Addison Stewart, the senior, with Adeline Turner, sophomore, on deck. In the hole, Brenna Elliott, another senior. First pitch to Stewart, fouled down the third baseline. First strike one. Things slowed down a minute here. Clement taking a look over to her coach, getting some signals. Now looks back in. Rocks and fires. Leaves that pitch up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baird's going to steal the second. I think they were trying to bait our third base runner Thomas into trying to come home. She didn't fall for it. She did have to dive back to the bag, though. Next pitch, that's fouled off as well. Count is 1-2 now to Stewart. Losing balls left and right here in the early part of this one so far. If I'm not careful, I'm going to have to give Leno the box of balls I've got underneath my tablet that I've got lifted up for the stream. 1-2 count. Going to be a foul ball down the third baseline. Count remains 1-2 to Stewart. Again, nobody out. Runners at the corners for the Lumberjacks. Oh, actually, no. I forgot that Avery Baird had advanced over to second on a stolen base. So 2 runners in scoring position. 1-2 pitch on the way. That's going to be lifted up on the infield. Coming over to make the catch is Chris Barger for the first out. So 1 down, runner still at second and third for the Lumberjacks. Adeline Turner to the plate for St. Mary's. Lumberjacks don't want to leave anybody stranded. First pitch to Turner on the way. Inside, ball 1. Don't know. I actually do have some of my stats here for the girls, I think. Oh, I do have a bracket here, too. That was a boys' bracket for districts, though. Next pitch, going to get a piece of it. Fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike now. One ball, 1 strike. Pitch on the way. Inside again. 2-1 count. On deck for St. Mary's is Elliott. In the hole is Watkins. 2-1 pitch on the way. Big cut. Miss. Strike 2. 2-2 count. Clement getting her signals. Now rocks and fires. That one will be fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Get another ball back out to the umpire. Clement checks with her coach, looks in. Rocks and fires. That one's going to be fouled back. 2-2 count still to Turner. Count is 2-2 to Turner. 6 pitches so far. Line drive right up the middle, back at the pitcher. Michaela Clement, that just went right past her. And it'll be an RBI single. Hard hit line drive right back up the middle. So 1 run across for the Lumberjacks. Still 1 out. Runners at the corners now with Baird sitting at third. Turner at first. Brenna Elliott to the plate for the Lumberjacks. First pitch to Elliott. That's going to be lifted out into the right center field. It'll be caught by the right fielder. Checking up and coming in is Baird, and she'll be in safely. Turner's going to head over to second as that ball was overthrown as it comes in. Nice catch by the right fielder for Orofino, or for Grangeville. That was McKenna York able to track that ball. It carried just enough that she was able to get to it in time. With only one out, though, it would allow a run to come in for the Lumberjacks. The lefty, Lissa Watkins, to the plate for St. Mary's. 2 outs now, runner at second base for the Jacks. She's going to take a swing at that first pitch. Might have been a bit of a rise ball. In any case, it was a strike one as she swung underneath it. 0-1 pitch. Going to foul that one back into the out into the street and just barely missed a car coming down Lumberjack Lane. Don't know if that car seen that, but it might have been a shock when they seen that bright yellow ball come down right in front of their car. It's a 0-2 count to Watkins. Low outside on the next pitch. 1-2 count. On deck for the Lumberjacks is Sloper. In the hole is Asbury. 1-2 pitch on the way. Up high. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two pitch on the way. It's going to catch that outside corner for a called strike 3. Watkins will go down looking. St. Mary's comes up with 2 runs on a couple of hits. They don't leave anybody on the bags. I think they did leave 1 stranded. And the score into the top of the second, St. Mary's 2, the Bulldogs nothing. It'll be Wagner, Harris, and LaFay coming up for the Bulldogs when we return.
Hughes Ace Hardware wants to invite you to come in and take a look. Hughes isn't just about hardware. Whether you need dish soap and sponges to clean up after your husband's guys' night or storage solutions for your wife's shopping addiction, you can find it at Hughes. Come see the difference. Everything you need, from a blow dryer to replace the one your toddler dropped in the toilet to a bathroom scale to help your hubby stay on his fitness goal. Hughes Ace Hardware is the place to get the products you need and the help you want all the time, every time.
You always hear on the radio, cross the bridge to savings. But it's true. St. Mary's Harvest Foods has what you need when you need it. And if you don't see it, then just ask one of the friendly staff and they will gladly help you find what you need. From meat, super fresh produce, and dairy, St. Mary's Harvest Foods will save you big on the things you need the most. No time to cook tonight? Then check out the Hot Deli for something quick for dinner. St. Mary's Harvest Foods, where you truly can cross the bridge to savings.
And we are back. Leading off for the Bulldogs here, the number 4 batter. It is Sienna Wagner. First at top of the first inning, it was 3 up and 3 down. That ball is going to be lifted out into left field. Making the catch is Kendra Nicholson. For 1 out. Brings up Maddie Harris. Adelaide LaFay on deck. First pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 1. That'll be a ground ball. Watkins will get the throw to first in time, and that'll be out number 2. Fairly close play there at first. I would say that she had some pretty good wheels on her. That'll bring Adelaide LaFay with 2 outs. Nobody on here in the top of the second for the Bulldogs. I keep wanting to say Maniacs. First pitch. That one could be trouble. No, it'll be actually hit right over to Brenna Elliott. I thought that was going to be a little bit deeper than that. And Elliott will catch it for the fly out. Lumberjacks doing well so far. 3 up and 3 down once again. 2-0. Lumberjacks lead it in the bottom, going into the bottom of the second inning. We will see the senior Danica Sloper at the plate, the senior Mia Asbury on deck, and I believe a sophomore Kendra Nicholson in the hole when we return.
Jack Buell Trucking knows that there are few things as important as wise use of our natural resources. And by utilizing the chips in the manufacturing of lumber, that is exactly what is accomplished. If you look beyond the wood chips, you see an entire community of schools, churches, and businesses. And most importantly, people. Jack Buell Trucking believes in responsible harvesting of our natural resources. After all, when you take a close look, those aren't just chips, they're an entire community. Jack Buell Trucking. Hugh and Margie Gannon of St. Mary's are proud to support the Lumberjacks and this Lumberjack Sports broadcast. The Gannons want to wish the Lumberjacks the best of luck this sports season and want you to know that they are proud of you. The Gannons say, "Go Lumberjacks!"
Another proud sponsor of our Lumberjack Sports broadcast, PotlatchDeltic Corporation. Not only are they a sponsor of our sports broadcast, but they are a big, big community supporter, whether it's nonprofits that need help or just the amount of people they have that employed in our community. PotlatchDeltic Corporation is a big part of our community. Be sure to thank them. That's going to be a nice hit by Danica Sloper down the third base line. She's going to round and head. Oh, she might get caught up in the middle, and they're going to get her out as she came back. She got too far off the bag, and I'm not sure if that should be recorded as a I'm not sure how that should be recorded, but it's an out either way. I'm going to call it a single. Down that first base line, but then she was caught out. I think she was, we'll call it picked off. So 1 out brings up Mia Asbury. Asbury will take that first pitch at the knees for strike one called. That was going to be a pretty good start for the inning if we didn't have that out there. Next pitch, a swing and a miss. Strike two to Asbury. Asbury has to protect now. 0-2 count to Mia. And she's going to try to get a piece of that or try to put it in play. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Out number two. I think that's the first strikeout. Two strikeouts. 4 hits so far to Clement. Brings up Nicholson, batting that number 9 slot. She's going to lift that one down the right field line. It's going to get out of play. Charging hard was McKenna York from right field, trying to get to it, but couldn't get there in time.
A locally owned pharmacy.
Your copays are the same wherever you go. Why not come and visit your locally owned pharmacy professionals?
Jack's Pharmacy is your good neighbor pharmacy here in St. Mary's. Come in and say hi. Jack's Pharmacy.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Idaho so special? They do. You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association.
And we are back. Lead off for the Bulldogs here is the number 7 batter, McKenna York. First pitch called strike on the outside corner. Next pitch going to be a big swing and a miss. Strike two. 0-2 count now to York. That one will be a chopping ground ball down the third baseline. Foul. Everybody returns after the foul ball. On deck is Adams, Kinsley Adams, Autumn Long in the hole. That one will be fouled up and over. Count remains 0-2 to York. That one, I think it made it over the top of the ditch, so that one should be easy to find. 0-2 count to York. That one just misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's the first ball thrown by Stewart. Top of the third inning. Going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. That'll be the third strikeout for Stewart. 2 outs, no, 1 out. Brings up Kinsley Adams. On deck, Autumn Long. In the hole, the top of the order, Madeline Green. That one's going to miss down low. 1 ball, no strikes to Adams. That'll be a called strike at just about the knee height. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Adams. It's the Lumberjacks and the Bulldogs doing battle for district tournament action here at Potlatch Deltic Fields. Inside and low. 2-1 count. Beautiful day for softball action. Again, after this, both teams still move on to the next rounds. The games will be over we'll move to Orofino after today. A swing and a miss, strike 2 to Adams on that next pitch. It's a 2-2 count now. Two-two pitch on the way. That one's going to miss inside. Runs the count full. 3-2 now to Adams. Three-two pitch on the way. That'll be hit into right field. Tracking it is Baird. Making the catch is Baird. That'll be out number 2. And batting in the number 9 slot, it is Autumn Long for the Bulldogs. Nobody on, 2 outs. First pitch to Long. Called strike. If Stewart can get her out, that'll be 3 up and 3 down in the first 3 innings for the Bulldogs as far as their at-bats. 0-1 count to Long. And that'll be right at Lissa Watkins, and she almost catches that line drive out of the air. I think it kind of came off her wrist, and it's going to be, I don't know if I should give that as an error or not to Watkins. I think we'll call it an error. It was kind of hard hit, but not super hard hit. And the first pitch to Green is going to be a strike. Green flew out in her first at bat. Autumn Long will advance over to second on a stolen base. Hit and run was on. 0-1 count to Green. That pitch just misses the corner. 1-1 count. Now to Green. Low outside. 2-1 count to Green. On deck is Vanderwall. In the hole is Barger. We're in the 1-2-3 slots for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs in their blue and white uniforms. St. Mary's green and gold. That pitch is going to be hit out into left field. And, ooh, Kendra Nicholson reaching for it. Can't pull it in. A run's going to score. And we'll have, I'm going to call it a double for Green. Kind of a fly ball out into left field. She tried to reach out and get it, and it just got past her glove. Don't believe there's an error there. I don't think it hit her. Tying run represented at second base for the Bulldogs. They trail 2-1 here in the top of the third. First hit of the game for Grangeville. That pitch is going to be popped up and foul over the backstop. Almost gets in the lap of one of our fans out here. Oh, 1 count to Vanderwall. Vanderwall out on a drop third strike in her first at bat. Tying run again for the Bulldogs sitting at second base. That's Green. Winner of this game will play for the district championship tomorrow, Monday against Orofino, or against either Orofino or Kellogg. I could probably actually check. There should be something on Facebook. Next pitch is a ground ball right back to Watkins. And another error by Watkins there. And almost, well, that is still going to go down as an error. So it was a ground ball at Watkins. It bounced off of her foot. Then she had another error, which advanced the runner over to third. And now a hit by Carissa Barger into left field brings in the tying run. Actually, the tying and go-ahead, I think. A little rally here by the Bulldogs. Yep, cleared the bases except for the hitter. So the Bulldogs take a 3-2 lead here in the top of the third inning. On the single, 2 RBI single by Barger. First pitch to Sienna Wagner, going to be a called strike. Wagner flew out in her first at bat. I think there's been 2 or 3 errors in this inning for St. Mary's. That's going to be fouled off, and that's been kind of the struggles for the Lumberjacks. Their batting and pitching has been really good, and it's just been kind of inconsistent, I guess you could say, on the defensive side sometimes. They'll play one game where they don't have but an error or 2, and then they'll play another game where they have 6 or 7. That pitch is going to be popped up and foul. Similar, not similar, but that's kind of what I even mentioned in my pregame before St. Mary's played Orofino earlier in the week. It would be the team that made the least mistakes, and Orofino was the team that was able to keep the mistakes to a minimum. St. Mary's did good through 4 innings. Then it was that 5th inning that they got in trouble in a little bit. Count is 0-2 to Wagner. 2 outs, runner at second base, or first base. Fouls off another one. Bulldogs have plated 3 runs here in the top of the third, giving them a 3-2 lead over St. Mary's. Again, both of these teams will still be going to Orofino to play on Monday. 0-2 pitch. And the dirt, a little bit of a wild pitch, is going to advance Barger over to second. Count is now 1-2 to Wagner. A little frustration out there from Stewart, I think, as she smacks her glove on her thigh. Refocus, rein it back in. 1-2 pitch. That one's in the dirt as well. That one is going to be a wild pitch that advances the runner to third as Barger heads over to third base. It's a 2-2 count now to Wagner. On deck is Madison Harris. That one, oh, that's a hard hit ground ball that's right back at Stewart. She tries to slap that thing down and get it stopped, and it takes a bad bounce out into left field. I'm not going to call that an error. The run will come in. I'm going to call that a double, I think. And Coach Watkins will call a timeout. Going to go out and talk to his pitcher in his infield.
You're listening to the home of Lumberjack Sports, 1240 KOFE St. Mary's.
Has to settle down his team a little bit, I think. Not really settle him down, but just some words of encouragement and get him refocused right now. 4-2. It's been a 4-run inning for the Bulldogs. Watkins returns over to the dugout. St. Mary's has beat Grangeville 3 times this year, but some of them have been close games. Grangeville is a tough squad. It's been a 2-out rally, too, I think. I think they had these 2 outs before getting the runs across. Madison Harris grounded out her first at bat. Now it'll be down in the dirt as well, and Wagner over to third base. So the Bulldogs wanting to try to bring out another run as they're already up by 2, 4-2, top of the third inning. 1-0 pitch, foul back, strike one. 1-1 count now to Harris. Pitch on the way. Down low, 2-1 count. Two-one pitch coming from Stewart. Fouls that one over to the Grangeville dugout. 2-2 count now. See if Lumberjacks can get out of this jam here. They've had 4 runs come across. There's been a couple of hits, been a couple of errors. Probably only a couple of earned runs. 2-2 count to Harris. Ground ball right back to Stewart. Throw to first will be in time. That'll retire the sides. But 4 runs across here in the top of the third for Grangeville. Gives them a 4-2 lead over the Lumberjacks. It'll be the top of the order for St. Mary's, so they're in a good spot to regain the lead. It'll be Thomas, Baird, and Stewart at the plate when we return.
Afraid to touch that breaker box? Need some rewiring done? Call the professionals at M&S Electric. With nearly 40 years experience, there's no job too big or too small. From industrial and commercial to residential and service work, M&S Electric isn't afraid. Serving Bennewash, Shoshone, Kootenai, and Latah counties, M&S Electric has you covered. Overhead work? M&S can do that too with their bucket truck. M&S Electric, 408 Main Avenue, St. Mary's. Give them a call, 208-245-3890. No job too big, no job too small. We do them all. M&S Electric.
And we are back, and an update on the game that I was trying to look up for. The Orofino Maniacs defeat Kellogg 17-3 up in Orofino this afternoon. That means the winner of this game will play Orofino in the championship game, and the loser of this game will play the Wildcats in a loser-out battle. So Maddie Thomas had a single out to shortstop in her first at bat. She's going to lay down a bunt on that pitch, and she's going to outrun the throw. They're going to overthrow. Oh, hopefully she doesn't get. Oh, yeah, she's out. I think she ended up out of the baseline. That was a beautiful bunt. For St. Mary's, but she's going to get caught out from the right fielder to the second baseman as she rounds and tries to get over to second base. I don't know if she was tagged out or if she ran out of the base path trying to turn around and come back down the way, but that's been 2 tough plays for St. Mary's on their last 2 the first batter here and the first batter at the last one. That one, Avery Baird's going to get a piece of it and pop it right out on a line drive soft to Vanderwall. So with 2 down, we've got Addie Stewart to the plate and nobody on for the Lumberjacks. Addie flew out to the third baseman, I believe it was, in her first at bat. On deck is Turner, in the hole is Elliott. See if St. Mary's can get their own 2-out rally going. And Stewart, a little bit behind, I think, on that one. He's going to foul it down that left field line. Need to straighten that out. Put it into a gap. It wasn't hard hit, but I think it'd be trouble if you get it into one of those either, right field or center left field, the gaps between those defensive players. 0-1 count to Stewart. And again, down that third base line, fouls it off. 0-2 count to Stewart. Oh, 2 count to Stewart. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the third. Grangeville leads at 4-2. Get another spare ball over to the umpire. Clement looks in, fires the pitch. That one's lifted into left field, but it's going to be caught by Autumn Long, as that was just too easy of a play down the left field line. And Lumberjacks go 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Top of the 4th inning coming. The Bulldogs with the lead now, 4-2. And it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 batters, LaFay, York, and Adams when we return.
For all of your area high school sports schedules, updates, and recaps, including Lakeside, Kootenai, and of course St. Mary's High School, pick up your copy of the St. Mary's Gazette Record every Wednesday. Not only will they have game recaps and highlights for area high school sports action, but local news and information. St. Mary's Gazette Record, pick up a copy today. Country Meats, formerly Scheffelmeyer's, is a proud supporter of Lumberjack Sports. Country Meats offers retail meats as well as custom processing of your farm-raised animals. Country Meats has a retail shop in Harrison currently open on Saturdays, or stop by their main shop at 18500 South Lane Road in Cataldo. Check out Country Meats' website, countrymeatsid.com, and follow them on Facebook for updates on hours and special offers. That's Country Meats, formerly Scheffelmeyer's, also proud supporters of the Benoit County Fair.
When you need... And we are back. Yeah, tough for the Lumberjacks. There's no earned runs so far on the stats for Addison Stewart. That first pitch to LaFay is going to be popped up and foul. So yeah, 4 runs across for the Maniacs, or for the Bulldogs. I keep saying Maniacs. But 4 runs across for the Bulldogs, and according to my stats keeping, there's not one of them is an earned run, so that's kind of a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully St. Mary's can overcome those errors in that inning. 0-1 count to LaFay. LaFay flew out in her last at bat. That's going to be a ground ball. Brenna Elliott, the scoop. That throw is not going to be in time. And actually, I must have missed one of the changes there in the outfield play for the Lumberjacks. I didn't switch them at one point for Turner and Sloper. Sloper's out there this inning. Danica was out there at the last inning. Runner on with no outs. McKenna York, who struck out swinging her first at bat. She's going to pop that one up and foul. Making sure that thing got all the way behind me and didn't right on top of the canopy. Kind of loud. 0-1 count to York. Lumberjacks need to gather themselves back in defensively. For refocus, that's going to be a high fly ball. It's into foul territory. And Stewart will come over and make the catch from the pitching position. That'll be the first out. Runner at first, LaFay held up. Brings up Adams. Fly out for her to right field in her first at bat. High on that pitch, ball 1. Again, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season, let alone 4 times. Lumberjacks have got to see if they can do it here. Down low, ball 2. Right now, Lumberjacks got to come from behind, though. They trail 4-2. Top of the 4th inning. There's plenty of time, but they've just got to get some good defensive stops here. That pitch is going to be a called strike. 2-1 count. Tanner Brebner throws that down to first from behind home plate. Doesn't get it there in time. 2-1 count now. Pitch on the way. Third baseman, they're going to throw to second and get the out over there on the fielder's choice. That'll bring up Autumn Long. We're getting a courtesy runner for their catcher. Number 17, who I don't have on my roster for the Bulldogs, so I guess we'll cancel that. 2 balls, no strikes to Autumn Long. Autumn reached on an error in her first at bat. I'm not going to worry about the courtesy runner. That is a little blooper hit out to Alyssa Watkins, who makes the catch for the flyout. That's a good little confidence regain there for Watkins, as she had a couple of errors in that previous inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. Well, maybe a hit for the Bulldogs. And going into the bottom of the fourth, St. Mary's still trailing 4-2. And kind of in the middle of the lineup for the Lumberjacks, we'll have Adeline Turner, Brenna Elliott, and Alyssa Watkins. When we return,
That morning pick-me-up before work or school, there's one place that comes to mind. It's a place that loves our community, the St. Mary's Lumberjacks, and all the local businesses and people in our village. Shift and Grind in St. Mary's is all about the community. Whether it's helping raise money for the Booster Club or for a family in need, the Shift and Grind family are always ready to help. So be sure to stop by Shift and Grind for your caffeinated needs. Located at 132 First Street in St. Mary's, Shift and Grind says, "Go Lumberjacks!"
Spring is here, and you can make your home beautiful this summer with help.
oh, I needed to cut that one off. I was not totally paying attention there. It'll bring up Adeline Turner for the Lumberjacks. Hit a single out into, I think it was a single, into center field in her first at bat after a nice battle with the pitcher. Clement sends the first pitch on the way. That'll be hit into center, right center. And what a play by Grangeville there. McKenna York comes over. She tries to catch that. It pops out of her glove. But Madison Harris there doing the thing they're probably taught to do to back up their teammate is there to catch that ball on the pop. So that was, even though it's not what we wanted as Lumberjack fans, it was still an impressive play there. I don't think there's a real way to put that as far as being bumped by the other player. So 1 out. St. Mary's has had a couple of unlucky breaks in their first at bats in their first up in the last 3 innings. That one is going to be fouled off by Elliott down the third base line. Strike one, 0-1 to Elliott. On deck will be Watkins, in the hole is Sloper. Oh, 0-1 pitch to Elliott. That one's going to be high and inside. 1-1 count now. One pitch on the way. That one misses high as well, I think. It might have been a tad inside. 2-1 count to Elliott. Clement toes the rubber, rocks and fires. Swing and a miss, strike two. 2-2 count to Elliott. Two pitch on the way. Inside, that one just misses, full count. 3-2 now to Elliott. Bottom of the fourth, 1 out, nobody on for the Lumberjacks. They trail 4-2. Next pitch, that one misses. Must have been inside. And Elliott will win that battle at the plate. Heads over to first on the walk. It'll bring up Watkins. Watkins struck out looking at her first at bat. On deck is Sloper, in the hole is Asbury. Lumberjacks need to put a couple of runs across the plate. Right now would be a good time to do it. Going to take a big swing at that one to get a piece of it off the tip of the bat. Foul ball, strike one to Watkins. Again, I think it was a hit and run kind of on with that one. Everybody will step back in after the foul ball, strike one. 0-1 pitch on the way from Clement. Outside corner, strike two called. Oh, 2 count to Watkins, has to battle now. She She will protect the plate. She's going to get that one fouled up out of play. Still 0-2 count to Watkins. Once again, bottom of the fourth inning. St. Mary's trails it 4-2. Top of the third, the Bulldogs had a 4-run inning. And with my stats, those were 4 unearned runs, which is tough. That pitch is going to miss. And they're going to get Brenna Elliott trying to steal. That pitch was ball 1. St. Mary's has not had any luck they just have been struggling a little bit on these stolen bases. And just a little bit of a couple other things in general. 1-2 count to Watkins now with 2 outs. Outside, 2-2 count now to Watkins. Again, some of these pitches close. I hear the sigh, the ooh, coming out of the dugout for Grangeville. 2-2 pitch coming. Going to swing on now. Fouls that one out of play. Count remains to 2-2. Watkins battling here. 53 pitches for Clement so far. Both pitchers actually pitching pretty well. Down low, ball 3, 3-2, full count. See if Watkins can earn herself on with a walk. Walk is as good as a hit right now. Just got to be patient. 3-2 pitch on the way. She's going to get a piece of that one, fouls that one off. That one might have been ball 4, but, you know, you got to be cautious when you've got 2 strikes on you. So if you can swing at it and make connection, at least keep your plate appearance alive. So it's a 3-2 count still to Watkins. Clement rocks and fires. That is trouble. That could be a base hit, and it will be. It'll drop down that left field line, and that'll put Alyssa Watkins on with a base hit. Lumberjacks will have Sloper to the plate. Sloper hit a single into left field. Sloper perfectly capable, I think, of home runs. She hasn't hit one this year yet, though. Be a nice time to put one over the fence for the senior. On deck for St. Mary's is Asbury if Sloper can get on. First pitch, fouled back for strike number 1. Oh, 1 count to Sloper. Runner on first for the Lumberjacks with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Big swing underneath the one there. And Alyssa Watkins is going to get caught too far off the bag, I think. And we've got 3 outs. No runs. I think there was 1 hit. No errors. Nobody left on base for St. Mary's. It is still the Bulldogs up 4-2 going into the top of the 5th inning. And it is the top of the order. Green, Vanderwall, and Barger for Grangeville when we return.
Help from 10th Street Lumber. Besides all the building materials you'll ever need, 10th Street Lumber has landscaping supplies. They have landscaping bricks, concrete bricks, paving bricks, as well as planting materials. So stop by today, whether you're building a deck, a patio, or planting flowers, 10th Street Lumber has it all. 10th Street Lumber at 10th Street and Railroad Avenue, right here in St. Mary's.
Wondering how to manage your retirement nest egg? How big should it be when you retire? Contact Jenny Oakes at Gateway Financial Partners to get the answers to these and all your other financial questions. The securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC. With over 30 years of financial planning, give Jenny Oakes a call at Gateway Financial Partners today. The guidance is free. The experience is priceless. Call 245-5255.
First pitch to Green will be a little blooper out to Watkins. Watkins will get the throw to first in time. First pitch to Vanderwall, going to be a called strike. Vanderwall out on a dropped third, reached on an error in her first 2 appearances at the plate. She's 0 for 2. On deck is Barger. That one is a little blooper fly ball to Elliott for out number 2. I just noticed that we have a comment on Facebook that says that St. Mary should have 3 runs. My score shows 2. If I can get a chance, I'll maybe check with Bree Watkins. First pitch to Chris Barger, high and outside, ball 1. Barger hit a singler last at bat, struck out swinging her first. That one she's going to foul off for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one will be a single over the third baseman's head. Just put it up over the top of Danica Sloper. That'll be a base hit single out to left field. Bring up Wagner with 2 outs and runner at first. That first pitch is going to be fouled off. Oh, 1 count to Wagner. Wagner had a double in her last at bat. That was to center field. Fouls off the next pitch. 0-2 count. I have gotten confirmation from Bree Watkins, who has the official book for St. Mary's. The score is 4-2. That pitch is going to be popped up. Going out and making the catch is Elliott for the 3rd out. That will retire the sides. And I think there was 1 hit. Nobody left, or 1 left on base. It's still 4-2 going into the bottom of the 5th for the Lumberjacks. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 batters up. Sloper, Asbury, and Nicholson.
Triple X Feeds in St. Mary's is your one-stop farm and garden shop. Everything from pet supplies to livestock feeds and supplies, Triple X Feeds has it. Horse supplies, they have that also. From saddle pads to bridles, Triple X Feeds can set you up. Triple X Feeds now has hay and alfalfa in stock as well as straw. Triple X Feeds, located at 130 East College Avenue in St. Mary's, open 8 to 5:30 weekdays and 9 to 5 on Saturdays. Triple X Feeds, a proud Lumberjack sports broadcast sponsor.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
We are back. It'll be Danica Sloper leading off for the Lumberjacks as she was up to bat at the end of the last inning. She did have a single in the left field, so she kind of gets a start over. She doesn't have any balls or strikes on her at this point, which is good. And first pitch is going to be a strike. I think she swung at one that was kind of low. Next pitch, ground ball down the third baseline. That'll be foul. Oh, 2 count now to Sloper. That pitch is going to miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sloper. Down will be fouled up and over as well. Count remains 1-2 to Sloper. On deck is Asbury. In the hole is Nicholson. Bottom of the fifth inning, St. Mary's trails 4-2 to the Bulldogs. No outs, nobody on here so far in the bottom of the fifth. Again, winner goes on to play Orofino in the championship game to see who gets that direct seed to state. That one will be fouled off. The loser of this game will play Kellogg, I believe, on Monday. And then I believe the winner of that game would play the loser of the district championship game. Count remains 1-2 to Sloper. 1-2 pitch on the way. That one's going to be fouled as well. That pitch was coming across a little low, a little off speed, and Danica able to make contact. Again, keeping her plate appearance live. 64 pitches so far for Clement. 1-2 pitch on the way. That one's fouled back as well. Count remains 1-2. Nice little battle here with Sloper and Clement. 7 pitches now to Sloper, not including the pitches that she had to her in the bottom of the previous inning. 1-2 pitch on the way. Fouls that one off as well. Got a good battle going here between these two. Sloper at the plate. Clement in the pitching circle for the Bulldogs. Again, just a fair warning. I'm hoping my tablet will stay charged all the way through the game for our stream. That pitch is going to be fouled up and out of play as well. Danica working hard at the plate, that's for sure. I think that's 9 pitches now. Still 1-2. And that'll be, I think that was actually a hit. It was a hit by pitch because it was only 1 ball, 2 strikes. So lead off on with the hit by pitch. I'm going to have to tell Coach Watkins that I have one of his boxes of balls over here if he needs it. I've got it used as a prop up for my tablet to get it up high enough to see over the fence for the stream for video. Brings up Mia Asbury. Asbury struck out swinging her first at bat. Fouls that first pitch back for strike 1. Getting some extra balls out to Blue. Quick reset, bottom of the fifth, nobody out. Lumberjacks at the plate, Sloper at first base, Asbury at the plate. 0-1 count to Asbury. St. Mary's trails 4-2. Down low, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. One count. That one's going to be down low as well. 2-1 count. Let's see if St. Mary's can have an inning here. You know, they've had a rough start to the last 3 innings. This time they got their lead off on. 2-1 count to Asbury. Clement looks in, gets her signals from the dugout. Now rocks and fires the pitch. Nice looking pitch and a swing and a miss. 2-2 count now to Asbury. Swung right underneath that one. 2-2 pitch on the way. Inside, ball 3, runs the count full. Now it's more of an even playing field for pitcher and hitter, but she still has to protect, obviously. Pitcher does got to try to get something closer to that strike zone. That one's going to miss up high, ball 4, and that'll send Asbury down to first, Sloper to second, and brings up the bottom of the lineup. It's Kendra Nicholson. Nicholson was out on a strikeout looking in her first at bat. Quick timeout by the coach for the Bulldogs. He's going to head out and talk to his pitcher and his infield. Don't really expect a pitching change at this point.
You're listening to the home of Lumberjack Sports, 1240 KOFE St. Mary's.
Once again, this is district tournament action here at Potlatch Deltic Fields. Another one of our sponsors that we would like to thank is the Country Fair in St. Mary's. The Country Fair, they have, we got high school softball season, baseball season is pretty much winding down, but Little League season is just getting rolling, and there's still a need possibly for softball, baseball gear, so they've got you covered there. They've got new summer fashion rolling in daily. They've got shoes and boots and sandals and hoodies and T-shirts, and always got some great deals and sales going on at the Country Fair, and they would love to see you there. The Country Fair on Main Street in St. Mary's. Coach Brian Chase says, come on over and take a look at what we've got. Nicholson waiting for her first pitch from Clement. She's going to look to lay down a bunt, and that's going to be, I'm guessing she didn't hit it. It's a strike. It's a strike, and then the ball got away from the batter, or from the catcher, and the runners advance. So 2 runners in scoring position for the Lumberjacks with no outs. Now she's going to lay down that bunt down the third baseline, and that was rolling the line. I thought it was going to cut back in, and I don't think it actually crossed the line, but it was right on top of the line, and I guess that counts as a foul ball. 0-2 count to Nicholson. That was almost a beautiful bunt down the third base line. That would have been something if that thing would have just rolled down that inner part of that line. 0-2 pitch. That'll be a ball that's hit out to the first baseman, or the second baseman. They're going to get the throw to first in time on the ground out. But a run does come across. And the tying run sits at third base for the Lumberjacks. Brings up the top of the order, too, for St. Mary's. So a good chance for them to maybe get something rolling here in the bottom of the 5th. Maddie had a single and a bunt in her first 2 at-bats. She's 2 for 2. She's going to swing on that one. Foul ball just behind the catcher. Just about a foot away from the backstop. 0-1 count to Thomas. I mean, if nothing else, even if Maddie gets out here, you'd like a deep fly ball or something, or even a ground out to first. Something enough to advance your runner from third. 0-1 pitch. She's going to lay down the bunt. They're going to not throw it to first, and they're going to keep the run at second. That's probably a heady defensive play by the Bulldogs there. As Clement looked like she was going to fake. She turned to look like she was going to throw it, and then immediately spun back to see if Mia was going to take off from third. But Mia coached up perfectly at third to not get too far off the bag. So runners at the corners with 1 out. It brings up Avery Baird. Baird singled her first at bat. That's going to be a drive down. Oh, dang it. Throw to home will be in time. They'll tag her out. That was kind of surprised with where that was hit, that they would go ahead and send Asbury in. Probably would have maybe had bases loaded. So 2 outs now. Tying run sits at second base for St. Mary's, and it's Stewart who lines that thing foul out to third baseline. Stewart is 0 for 2. She's due for 1 here. If she could put something deep to the fence, could bring in 2 runs. So the 0-1 count to Stewart. Everything she's hit foul today has been that left field side, too. Left field side foul ball, 0-2. Score is 4-3 now in favor of Grangeville. again. Fouls that one off left field. I think that one hit the portalet out there. Hopefully nobody was in it. That'd be a loud noise sitting in that toilet. 0-2 still to Stewart as she battles at the plate against Clement. Clement with 83 pitches now. 0-2 pitch. Natty's going to get a piece of it. I think that one might have almost hit her hands as that one hit way low on the handle. Oh, 0-2 pitch. Lifts that one foul as well. That one might have been ball one, but of course she's got to protect, so she's going to swing at anything that looks like it's going to be close. Getting some spare balls back out to the umpire. Everybody resets. 0-2 still the count to Stewart. 2 outs. Runners at second and first. Lumberjacks trail 4-3. They need 1 run to tie it. 2 to go ahead. Bottom of the 5th. 0-2 pitch. That is going to be a foul ball, but is it going to be caught? It is. That was caught just in play by the left fielder into playable territory. So St. Mary's does come up with 1 run. They bring it a little bit closer, but they're going into the top of the 6th. Need some more good defense from the Lumberjacks. It'll be Madison Harris, Adelaide LaFay, and McKenna York when we return up for the Bulldogs.
This message presented by the IHSAA and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association.
St. Mary's Realty is a St. Mary's icon. Why? Because they are a team. They work for you. And they've been a team for many years. Whether you are buying your first home, looking for a recreational cabin, or selling your current home, St. Mary's Realty puts their team on it for you. So stop in or give them a call today at 245-4502 and let their team be your team. That's St. Mary's Realty at 726 Main Avenue, St. Mary's.
And we are back. Top of 6, St. Mary's trails 4-3 to the Bulldogs. Madison Harris for the Bulldogs up to the plate first for Grangeville. She bats in the number 5 slot. 2 ground outs for her in her first 2 at-bats. That one's going to be fouled off down that right field line. Oh, no, not out. I'll do that. 0-1 count to Harris. It's going to be a called strike. 0-2 count. Stewart sits at 71 pitches. 0-2 count. And got just a piece of that one. I think she might have fouled that off her foot. 0-2 count as Harris stretches that toe out. Coach Watkins looks like he's going to go fishing for some foul balls. That one's going to be a called strike 3, but it will be a dropped 3rd strike. And they're going to say the throw was in time. That was very close down to first base. Because that ball did get away from Brebner for a minute, got behind her just a little bit. She's able to get focused and throw it down the line to Asbury. 1 out, nobody on for the Bulldogs, brings up LaFay. She singled in her last at bat. That'll be a pop fly that'll be caught by Avery Baird for the out. So 2 out, nobody on for the Bulldogs. Brings up McKenna York. York flew out in her first at bat, struck out swinging her first at bat, flew out in her last at bat. Foul ball on the first pitch, strike 1. On deck for the Bulldogs is Kinsley Adams. In the hole is Autumn Long. 0-1 pitch. Fly ball. Making the catch for the third out is Watkins. 3 up and 3 down for the Bulldogs. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody on base. And going into the bottom of the 6th, the Bulldogs lead at 4-3. We'll have Turner, Elliott, and Watkins when we come back.
Riverbend Car Wash and Laundromat, located next to Harvest Foods in St. Mary's. Open 24 hours, we have washers and dryers of all sizes to get your laundry done quickly. If you'd like to get your laundry done in less than 5 minutes, take advantage of our drop-off laundry service where we wash, dry, and fold it for you. While you do your laundry, be sure to take advantage of our touchless automatic car wash, which has that great undercarriage spray to get the grime off. Riverbend Car Wash and Laundromat can be found at riverbendbubbles.com or call 208-582-4844.
Whistle Stop Coffee and More has come a long way from the little shop on Railroad Avenue. How far? Not only did they upgrade their Railroad Avenue location, they added a second location. That second location for Whistle Stop Coffee and More is on 313 St. Joe River Road. Both locations offer tasty drinks of coffee, Red Bull, or Lotus Energy, and food options, from acai bowls to cookies and delicious bagel sandwiches. Whistle Stop Coffee and More is the perfect stop for a quick bite and a drink on your way to work or school. Whistle Stop Coffee and More in St. Mary's. Does your furry friend...
And we are back. First pitch is going to be a ground ball into center field for Adeline Turner. So the Lumberjacks leadoff is on. Now they need to bring her around so they can get this game tied back up. Brings up Brenna Elliott, fly out and a walk for her in her first 2 at-bats. On deck is Watkins, in the hole is Sloper. Big swing and a miss on that first pitch, strike 1. On deck for St. Mary's, I think I already said that. Watkins and then Sloper in the hole. Next pitch on the way. That one's high. 1 ball, 1 strike. To Elliott. Next pitch, fly ball on the infield. Making the catch is Wagner from short for the out. One down for St. Mary's. Brings up Watkins. Watkins reached on a single in her last at bat. Struck out looking her first at bat. On deck is Sloper. In the hole is Asbury. That pitch misses outside. Ball 1. Michaela Clement with 91 pitches in this game. That'll be a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, pitch count not as important in softball. There is no pitch count, obviously. I'm sure those arms still get a little bit tired. 1-1 count to Watkins. Gonna swing at that one. Strike 2. That pitch either looked like it kind of broke outside. I don't know if it can do that on softball, but 1-2 count to Watkins now. Has to protect. She's had a couple of good battles with the pitcher. That's a ground ball. Gets underneath the third baseman's glove and underneath the shortstop's glove, and everybody will be safe on the single. That was not a hard hit ground ball, but it was one that was just enough trouble. One out for the Lumberjacks. Sloper to the plate. She has a single and a hit by pitch. On deck is Asbury. In the hole is Nicholson. And we'll be back to the top of the order to Thomas. She's going to foul that first pitch off for strike 1. I think Danica had a pretty good battle the last at bat with Clement. That one is lifted into left field. And Autumn Long makes the catch for the fly out. Everybody is held up at the bag, so runner still at second and first for the Lumberjacks. 2 outs now, brings up Mia Asbury. First pitch to Asbury, swing and a miss for strike one. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Ground ball, and again under the glove of the batters. And Coach Watkins going to hold everybody up. Bases loaded for the Lumberjacks. Brings up the number 9 batter, Kendra Nicholson, with the bases loaded. 2 outs. She has a strikeout and a ground out. Has to put something in play to bring St. Mary's tying run in. Or be walked. But Clement pitching pretty good. She's only got a few walks on the game, maybe 1 or 2. Oh, little dribbling ground ball right back at the pitcher, and Clement able to get it and flip it to third or to home to retire the side. St. Mary's leaves the bases loaded that time and can't get a tying run or go-ahead run across. 4-3, the Bulldogs lead into the top of the 7th. It'll be the 8, 9, and number 1 batter. So you got Adams, Long, and Green coming up for the Bulldogs.
Need a bath? Don't want to deal with the hassle and the mess from bathing your furry friend? Make an appointment with Barks and Bubbles Groom Shop today. Barks and Bubbles, located at 402 North 10th Street in St. Mary's, will have your furry friend looking and feeling like $1,000,000 in no time. And guess what? No mess at home, no scratches, and no getting soaked from head to toe. Let Barks and Bubbles Groom Shop handle the work. Barks and Bubbles Groom Shop also offers pet boarding. Call for an appointment today at 208-245-5755. That's 208-245-5755. Barks and Bubbles Groom Shop in St. Mary's.
And we are back. Lumberjacks trail 4-3 to the Bulldogs into the top of the 7th inning. Lumberjacks had the bases loaded, but they had 2 outs, so that made things a little bit tougher at the bottom of the 6th. That pitch is a little high and outside. Ball 1 to Adams. Adams fly out in a fielder's choice in her first 2 at-bats. On deck, it's Autumn Long, the number 9 batter, and then back to the top of the order to Green. That pitch will be a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Adams. That one gets away a little bit up high. 2-1 count now to Adams. Two-one pitch. That one misses inside. 3-1 now to Adams. Three-one pitch. Stewart loses, I think, lost that one a little bit. That'll be ball 4 low and inside. It'll walk Adams over to first. Get a courtesy runner for the catcher. First pitch to Autumn Long. I was looking at my stats. I didn't think it was a ball 1. I think we got a 2-0 count to Long. Leaves that one high. 3-0 count to Long. Next pitch is almost right down the middle, maybe on the little bit on the outside corner. 3-1 count now to Long. 3-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Runs the count full. 3-2 to Long. On deck is Green. In the hole is Vanderwall. No outs. Runner at first for the Bulldogs here in the top of the 7th. That one's going to be a fly ball. Stewart's going to call for it, make the catch from the pitching position. A little bit easier for Stewart to track that ball down than Brebner, so she calls off Brebner and makes the catch. 1 out, runner on first for the Bulldogs. Brings up the lefty Green. Green was grounded out in her first at bat. Waves at the first pitch for strike 1. She did hit a nice double in her second at bat. Next pitch lifted into left field, and that's just going to be over the glove of Elliott. Just out of reach, I believe, of Elliott. So runners at first and second with 1 out. Vanderwall takes that first pitch low and inside for ball 1. One-0 pitch, fouled back, strike 1. 1-1 count now to Vanderwall. Once again, the winner of this game will go on to play Orofino for the district championship game. That'll be for the direct seed into the state tournament. Loser of this game will play, I believe it's Kellogg tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday, over in Orofino. Low and inside. And then the winner of that game would play the loser of the championship game. And that is for the chance to play in game. Next pitch is inside for ball 3. 3-1 count to Vanderwall. 93 pitches now for Stewart. Three-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Runs the count full, 3-2. Three-two pitch on the way. Going to take a wave at a big one. Got a piece of that one as it went drifted high. Fouls it off. Stays alive. Still full count to Vanderwall. Barger on deck. Wagner in the hole. Next pitch. Got a little bit of a piece of that one, so she stays alive. Still a full count. 3-2 to Vanderwall. That's going to be popped up into foul territory. Sloper from third base makes the catch for the out. That'll retire Vanderwall to the dugout. Brings up Chris Barger. Barger's been on a little bit of a streak. She's had 2 singles in her last 2 at-bats, both to left field. That's a little soft ground ball to the third baseman, Sloper. Sloper's going to try to beat her to the bag, and she can't do it. Bases are loaded now for the Bulldogs with 2 outs. I call that one a single, I guess. Brings up Wagner. Wagner, a fly out, a double, and a fly out. That will be fouled off for strike 1. So she's kind of a dangerous batter there, batting in that number 4 slot. That one will be hit into left field. Nice catch by Kendra Nicholson off the top of the grass. I thought that was actually going to drop for a hit and a couple of runs come in. Nicholson proved me wrong, getting that ball right off the top of the turf out there. So no runs in off of bases loaded for the Bulldogs. The score is 4-3 into the bottom of the 7th, and the Lumberjacks will be at the top of their order. It'll be Thomas, Baird, and Stewart when we return.
With a P1FCU Ascend checking account, you get more than great dividends. Imagine having an entire branch in your pocket. Who needs a checkbook when you have a digital wallet? The only thing I check these days are my dividends.
Access your account anytime, anywhere. Simplify your life and start earning more with Ascend Checking. Get yours today at p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, your community, your credit union. Insured by NCUA.
And we are back, bottom of the 7th inning. St. Mary's needs to get at least one run across here in the bottom of the 7th. Lumberjacks are at the top of their order. Thomas has a single, a bunt, and a single in her first 3 at-bats. She's actually 3 for 3 because that bunt wasn't a sacrifice bunt. She laid it down perfectly and made it down to first base. So she's been perfect this afternoon. First pitch on the way. Lifted into right field. Fly ball to McKenna York. Lumberjacks don't want to see a repeat of what happened to them against Orofino when they were down by, I think it was 3 runs, and it was 3 quick outs to end the game. Brings up Avery Baird, reached on a fielder's choice her last at bat. Had a line drive out and a single in the previous 2. Addie Stewart, Adeline Turner on deck and in the hole. First pitch fouled back, strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Swings at that one that came across low. Strike 2, 0-2 count. Avery needs to protect now. Down 0-2, next pitch. Ground ball right to the shortstop. Can she beat the throw? No. Two down for the Lumberjacks now with nobody on. And coach for the Bulldogs going out. They're going to bring his whole team in and talk to him real quick. Lumberjacks got a couple of their heavy hitters coming up. They are the home run leaders on the team, so anything's possible here, but they've got to get on base or put one out of play, out of the park. Two out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th inning. St. Mary's trails 4-3. Season doesn't end here for either one of these teams. If whoever ends up coming out the loser today, still get to play Monday. First pitch to Stewart. She's going to foul that one back. Stewart has really liked that left side of the field today. 0 for 3 today as well. 104 pitches for Clement. Oh, they actually changed their pitcher. I did not catch that. Fouled down the third baseline. 0-2 count. I don't know when they made that change, but Adelaide LaFay is pitching now for the Bulldogs. I did not catch that. And the Bulldogs have so many tall, lanky girls and that look pretty similar. 0-2 count to Stewart. Pitch on the way. That is hit out of play down the right or left field line. All those fans hugging that out of play line might have benefited St. Mary's in that one. I have to see it. I think they're all hugging pretty close to that line down there. 0-2 count to Stewart. That is popped up foul and caught by Barger at third base for the final out. Lumberjacks are going to come up short here today, 4-3 to the Bulldogs, and I'll check with Bree. I want to kind of curious on the earned runs count because that's going to be the toughest thing there with the Lumberjacks is my unofficial stats have all 4 of the runs for Grangeville being unearned in this matchup. So St. Mary's now has to battle for a play-in game spot. The Bulldogs will go to take on the Maniacs in Orofino in the championship game. St. Mary's will play Kellogg, and that'll be hoping to get into the get into the play-in game. That'll be, let's see here. So St. Mary's will play Kellogg first. and Grangeville will play Orofino for the championship game. And then the loser of the championship game falls down and plays the winner of the game between St. Mary's and Kellogg. That's all on Monday in Orofino. So we'll take a look real quick here. The Lumberjacks come up with 2 runs in the first inning, no runs through the second, third, and fourth, 1 run in the fifth. That gives them their 3 runs. And they had 10 hits, 3 errors by St. Mary's, and 6 left on base. The Bulldogs had 4 runs in the third. That gave them the lead, and they never relinquished it. And they had 7 hits, no errors, and 6 left on base in this one. Take a look at some other numbers here. Lumberjacks batting average today was .370, so not a bad batting average. St. Mary's had earned a couple of walks. They only struck out 3 times, did St. Mary's. 1 was hit by pitch. Only 1 stolen base. St. Mary's had a couple of not inopportune, but just a couple of, I don't know if they were boo-boos or just little mistakes as far as the base running thing. They had a couple of leadoff batters hit and then try to get an extra base, and they got caught a couple times there in back-to-back innings. And then in another inning right after that one was the not really an immaculate catch, but it was kind of when the right fielder for Grangeville had the ball pop out of her glove, and the center fielder was there to make the grab and backup of her right fielder. So just a couple of unfortunate incidences there for the Lumberjacks in those 3 innings as well, because they started those innings off pretty good by getting some decent contact with the ball. So just a few things there that made the difference today, especially those errors in that third inning. So that made things tougher. Stewart didn't have too bad of a day. It says 0 earned runs according to my stats. She struck out 4 batters, walked 1, and all in all had a pretty decent afternoon. Started off with no balls thrown through the first 3 innings, I think it was. They had the 3 up and 3 down through the first 3 innings. It wasn't until that 4th inning before they started to put the ball in play, and I think that's the inning where they got their 4 runs. And let's see, the Bulldogs, on the other hand, they only batted .233 on the contest. Their pitching, which I have that messed up, Adelaide LaFay came in and pitched. Maybe it was just in that last inning, I'm not sure. But there was 3 earned runs. All the runs were earned for St. Mary's. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and I think 1 hit by pitch. So, again, Lumberjacks are not out of it, obviously. They've got to go into Orofino, though, and work their way into a chance to go to the play-in game. Again, the play-in game is going to be in Moscow, as far as I know, if St. Mary's gets into that play-in game, and we'll let you know more on that and if we're going to be able to cover it as it gets closer to that, and that's not until May 10th. So we'll keep you up to date, and, of course, we do plan on trying to make it out to Orofino, everything we can to make it to Orofino on Monday. But that's going to do it for us here from Potlatch Deltic Field. St. Mary's falls 4-3 to the Bulldogs in district tournament play. And we hope everybody has a great weekend. Don't forget Muddy Butt this weekend. Kids race Saturday. Big bikes on Sunday. Registration starts at 7 a.m. on both days at the warming hut up there. And also, when you're going up there, don't forget, they basically have all the parking through a couple of gates. They don't want any parking by the warming hut on the side where the vendors are at. And you have to sign a waiver and get a wristband. So if you don't have a wristband, they might just kick you out if you don't want to get one. So be sure to stop and get that wristband. And that's going to do it for us for our broadcast. Once again, St. Mary's falls 4-3 to the Bulldogs.
Thank you for tuning into another broadcast of High School Sports on KOFE 1240 AM St. Mary's, your home for high school sports broadcasts. We want to take a moment to thank our sports broadcast sponsors and hope that you'll do the same. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.